Hello, hello. What's up? What's up? It is a new day, it is a new week, and it's time to get social. My name is Kayvana, and welcome to the Introverts Social Hour. Apple cider vinegar? Love the benefits, hate the taste. That's where Goldie ACV gummies come in. Made with essential B vitamins, B9, and B12, they support digestion, gut health, and overall wellness without that face scrunching ACV shot. Just pop a gummy and go. Check them out at goalie.com and use my code INTROVERTHOUR for 10% off. Once again, that's INTROVERTHOUR for 10% off. Let's go. Hello, hello. What's up? What's up? Welcome to the Introvert Social Hour. Today we are talking about Epic the musical. Now, just to note, I don't know a lot. So this is pretty much me having my friends come on and having them convince me to really go in and listen to the whole thing. From what I know, it's a TikTok musical. It started taking off. It's a concept, like musical album, and there's a lot more to go off of that, and that's what this episode is for. I've listened to bits and pieces here because of them, and I'm super excited for them to really just convince me to really just dedicate myself to Epic the Musical as a musical girly myself. So please welcome back Summer and James to the podcast. Welcome, welcome.
Hey, thank you. Thanks for having us.
Thanks for having
Yes,
us. We're very
of
excited.
course. Thank you for being here. So it's so funny for the audience to know. I basically told Summer and James like the floor is yours. You got to
Oh
convince me
man.
in 1 hour. Like why should I, really dedicate myself to Epic? Because like I said, I've listened to a few things, but I have yet to really just dive in and listen to everything. So I'm like, okay, how do I get on Epic Talk? Let's do it. So this is your go to. If I have any questions, of course I'll ask them. Of course I do know it's about the telling of the Odyssey. I know that's like there's like 9 albums, correct?
10.
10
10,
total.
10 albums. Bet okay, and then it was like over a few years time. It became like a TikTok community.
Yes. Jorge or Jay, the creator, he's been working on it, I think since like 2019.
I
He
think so.
started posting videos on TikTok,
Okay.
right?
hmm
And
Okay.
it kind of like blew up because he finished it. He finished and uploaded his very first saga,
Hmm.
I think in like 2020, 2021. I'm probably getting the timeline wrong, by the way. This
You're
is like just
good.
what I know.
Hmm.
And I think the thing that made it special is that he hosted auditions through the TikTok platform. So that's why it like blew up there.
Hmm.
It's like on Spotify, Apple Music, you can find it like basically on either of those platforms. But yeah, I think people have been following it for a long time.
Yeah, you can correct me if I'm wrong. I'm pretty sure every single voice on there is from basically him casting through TikTok, if I'm correct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
He
Bet.
actually even met, this is cheesy, Kavana, I think you'll like it.
Okay.
He met his current girlfriend through the TikTok auditions because she got casted as one of the
Um,
voices. She plays Cersei.
got you. And they started working together and they kind of like fell in love.
Yes.
Bet. That's
Exactly.
very cute. Okay. I
Yes.
appreciate that. You're right. You're right.
Something else that I think that you will really like. This is just like behind the scenes.
Okay.
Um Jorge actually had like a Taylor Swift moment because in the beginning, the recording company that had like shown interest and was like helping him produce these albums
Hmm.
played him. Like they played
Got you.
him, they withheld like all the proceeds, all the process profits. They locked him out of all the Epic the musical like social media accounts. It was like crazy. They like ghosted him. It was wild.
So like in this case scenario, it was on a path to go somewhere, and then they were just like they pulled the plug basically, and so he was on his own. And he then what it seems like is he went to TikTok to just share and try to do it the non-traditional way of trying to make his musical kind of become a thing.
Yeah,
Would you say
pretty
that?
much.
Okay.
Sorry, I went off on a little side adventure because I wanted to verify some of the information we were giving you. It
No,
is
you're good.
actually only 9 albums. That yeah.
Oh, okay. Bet.
You're
Nice.
correct. See, you're already a fan. It's
Look,
all good.
I was trying to do a little bit of knowledge, like, okay, I was like, "I think I know some things, let me track back."
Oh,
Okay.
there's 9 sagas.
Yes, Nine Sagas.
9
Oh, that's what you were
sagas.
saying. I
Mhm.
was like, "Why are you?"
Got
Okay,
you.
cool.
Wait, so what would you where were you is there another thing, like, actually that
No,
you
I think
reference
I
as
just,
10?
like, miscounted in my head.
Got
Yep.
you.
Now
Okay.
that all of them are out, at least for me and Summer, the way that we listen to it is either directly all the way through from beginning to end, or we
Mhm.
even shuffle it just to add some spice.
Okay.
Because of that, we kind of lost track of exactly how many different sagas there are, exactly how it's spread out.
Got you. So I am curious, so what made you find Epic in the first place? Was it something that just popped up on TikTok and you kind of went down a rabbit hole? And then on top of that, what made it stick for you? And then I think I'm also curious to know at what journey of Epic did you discover it? Because I know it recently concluded, right?
Mhm. Oh my
Okay.
gosh, can I say this?
Yes, I think you're more suited to talk about this part.
Okay. I remember being in college. It was 2021, and I came across a duet that Jorge had done for Warrior of the Mind, which is a song in the very first saga. And it's like a very popular part. I think it like went viral in my small corner of the world.
And I will say, I'm pretty sure even I wasn't vested or knowledgeable about the actual musical at that point either. But I did hear that sound, and I was like, oh, that's a cool TikTok sound. People are putting onto different edits of different fandoms.
Hmm.
It's like the first moment when Odysseus first meets Athena. And if you
Gotcha.
listen to it, I think you'll really like Warrior of the Mind.
Warrior of
There's
the
like a
Mind.
grungy thing that he does with his voice, and I'm like, wow, the way he says Athena like tickled my
It
brain.
gets he rasps
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, it was so nice. Um, they've obviously since re-recorded that
Mhm.
to get like, the new masters, quote unquote, right, with their whole lawsuit thing. But I love the new version. Um, and yeah, I think you will too. And
Yes. You learned about it basically. Did you learn about it through the sounds first, and then that kind of got you to investigate further, or did you find Jorge first and go through his
It
whole
was
process?
truly more so y'all. I think I don't know if it was like we had a FaceTime and Summer had asked or something, but I hadn't heard of anything about it. It didn't pop up on my FYP or nothing like that. It still really hasn't, other than unless like Summer has sent me something. So it was more so Summer being like, "Hey, there's this like musical thing happening on TikTok. It's like epic. You should check it out." And I was like, I think I seen like a video or two, and that's why I was like, I haven't been pulled in just yet. So it's something about because the same thing happened with, like, the Bridgerton musical that happened on
Mm-hmm.
TikTok as well, and then at a certain point, there was even a Ratatouille one.
Oh,
Um, I couldn't get I don't know, so that's why I was like but I know it seems like, yes, Bridgerton musical, did end up getting big enough, for the creators to even, like, perform elsewhere, and I think they even, helped write Moana 2 and stuff like that, but for me, I keep I see that Epic is big, especially community wise, because even Summer has told me like and showed me how like people come together and they put art concepts out and like the whole auditioning to be a part of it. Like those are things we haven't seen yet. So it's still intriguing to me, but I don't know why it's something in the sounds that I haven't heard yet that's like, let me dedicate it. And I also think it's because I hear 9 albums
Mhm.
where I kind of don't take that jump. Yeah.
so let's break it down.
Okay.
9 albums. The entire musical spans 40 songs. I know that for sure. Like Jorge has been very transparent. 40 songs. That's like Hamilton, Kavana. You love
I'm
Hamilton.
pretty sure it's less than Hamilton technically.
Hamilton
Yeah.
is 43 songs.
Oh, see. Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
And I think the entire runtime, if you were to listen to it from beginning to end,
Mhm.
according to Spotify, it says it's less than 2.5 hours. So it's at 2 hours and 23 minutes.
Okay, that's fair. Now that I have heard that, that puts it more into perspective. I guess I am curious to know. I know he released them in separate pieces. Has he talked about ever just putting it all in one, like, like cast album, or does he
That's
prefer it like that?
Well, technically, it is like one album, right?
Mhm.
Yes,
It's just told in different sagas.
Yeah.
So on Spotify, you'll see it under Epic
Mhm.
Official Concept Album. It is one album.
and I think the reason he split it up into those sagas was more so just for the release as he builds it up. I do think it was more of like marketing. You know, it's kind of
Gotcha.
like the hype of it releasing every couple months. It just keeps it alive and like for a longer time within like the public side, right?
Mhm.
And you can kind of
Okay.
see that story progress from beginning to end over the course of years, which is also similar to what the character in the story is going through. It's not a short journey. It's definitely something that takes a long time
Mhm.
for him to complete out.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think you
Mhm.
would really enjoy it. I just fact checked myself. Hamilton is 46 songs.
Uh,
Okay.
So,
a lot of fact checking ourselves
Okay.
in this one.
yeah.
Right, yeah. I do have a question, I guess, too. So, like, I'm assuming in regular musical fashion, there's like interludes and more shorter song pieces as well? Question mark.
Yes.
Okay, bet. Um.
Not as many, actually, to be honest. I think each
Oh.
song is pretty individual. They each have a
Mhm.
strong purpose.
Okay.
Like they each tell their own like primary story, if that makes sense. Not so much interludes, in my
Oh, the
opinion.
Mm.
only one that I'm thinking of, the shortest song is like We'll Be Fine. It's like 2 minutes.
Yes. But
Gotcha.
I guess on that vein, I'm not sure if you were asking in this regard, but I know that interludes and like reprises, for example, they often
Mhm.
carry a lot of the same musical themes as like past songs or other songs within the album.
Mhm.
For me personally, I think one of the things I love the most about the way that he creates his music is that he's like constantly using his own motifs and his own themes in different situations and different scenarios throughout.
Mhm.
And as someone that usually gets pretty tired of repetitive music, like there's a lot of songs I don't like because it's a personal gripe, but it's like, oh, they'll repeat the chorus one too many times.
Yeah.
For this, I think the way that he does it is very sound. It's very creative in that he's using the same tones and motifs, but in slightly different ways, and in slightly different ways that mean a lot if you like read into it a little bit more.
Okay. Okay. So, but this is good to know for me as like a musical person. Like, it's not gonna be that the typical like musical structure is what you're saying.
Yes, I would say so. And there's
Mm.
as much as there is repetition, there's a lot of different creativity and a lot of different musical beats and techniques that he hits on.
Ooh, can I
Mm.
say something?
Yeah.
Kavana, when if you were to listen to it, I
Mhm.
would highly, highly, highly recommend watching it with the accompanying animatics.
Yes, I would
Okay.
100% agree.
Who is that also on his page, or
So
is
the
there
way
like
that
someone who does it
yeah,
separately?
so the way that Jorge did it, he has built a wonderful community. I love like what he has done. So leading up to every release, he will find someone who has done an animatic before, like
Mhm.
an accompanying like video basically. And he will work with them, be like, "Hey, I'm about to release the Underworld Saga. Can you listen to these and I'll send you reference videos and then can
Mm.
you draw it?" And on the release date, he'll do live streams, right? He'll do
Mhm.
live streams where he watches the entire musical that has already been released. And then at the end, he'll watch the new stuff with everyone. And
Okay.
it's like really, really nice to watch the accompanying videos that he has like chosen.
Mhm.
And then obviously there's like fan work that comes out afterwards of people's own renditions, which I also really enjoy. You can find his live streams on his YouTube channel.
Yeah, and I think he has all of
Gotcha.
them that are like basically that slow ramp up to the final
Yes.
saga.
And there are lots of people since then who have made their own YouTube playlists with different animatics because they think it tells like either a more cohesive story or like sometimes for Jorge's live streams, the
Mhm.
songs will just be lyric videos. So then people will like, "Oh, I like this animatic better," and they put it in that slot.
Got it. Okay. Huh, good to
Yeah,
know. So that would be so if you're gonna go for it watching it as well. Really getting the full picture.
I would definitely recommend that.
Mhm.
You don't need it per se, but it does enhance what you're listening to, and it does provide some more context, maybe in moments where I don't know, you might not know exactly what's happening. It
Mhm.
gives you all of that.
Okay. So you said bringing it back in, you said Warrior of the Mind was a song that really like pulled you in and captured you in. What
Yeah,
either moment or song made you stay? Like what was really like, okay, this is it. I am into Epic. I want to know more. I'm in. I want to see the finish line.
Just a Man, which is
Okay.
also which is
Okay.
also a song that is very popular for like edits, right?
Mhm.
Yes, yeah. So I would have to say that one for me. So both Just a Man and Warrior of the Mind, they're both from the first saga, and they
Okay.
both had like some viral sounds come out of it to some success. I think that Warrior of the Mind is probably the more popular if you have ever heard of that on TikTok. But there's also a little snippet from Just a Man that was really popular. Maybe it was within my realm of more like
Yeah.
anime or like Star Wars, like just a lot of different edits for different fandoms.
Mhm.
That relates a lot to just the hero's journey. Um, but yeah, within Just a Man, it hits really hard. It's a very emotional piece. And it's the second song in the entire saga, so
Mhm.
it's it really sets the tone and sets the stage for what's coming up in the rest of the musical.
Yeah. So
Nice.
I think
Okay.
hearing Warrior of the Mind, that's I'm just gonna throw numbers at you, Kivana.
Mhm.
It is song number 5
Okay.
in the album. And it made us go back and like, well, me and re-listen to it. And Just a Man is the second song in the entire series. And it's really good. I think even the
Okay.
first song you would really appreciate. Um, and then it just gets better and better, in my opinion.
Okay. I don't know if you can hear I'm taking notes.
Yes.
Oh, good.
um um okay, so then to confirm, Jorge, did he do was he the entire first saga before everyone started coming in?
He actually
So he drafted the entire series basically on his own first.
Mhm.
When he did release those first recordings of the first album, he already had people with him, already I
Bet.
guess
Nice.
assigned because it there's a lot of different roles in this saga or
Yeah.
in his musical. I believe at that point he already did have people like Zeus is a character. He was already casted. He had a couple of his
Mhm.
crew members, like Odysseus's crew members, also casted.
Oh, Luke. Yeah, I think just so you know his TikTok journey, Kivana,
Mhm.
he was like back in 2021, he was giving us songs in like the last saga, like song 36, song 38. He
Oh.
was like very transparent about his
Yes.
Mhm.
journey.
Hmm.
Got
So
you.
a lot of these songs, when they came out, people had already heard a different version of them, a earlier draft,
Mm.
right? And
Mhm.
it's just really exciting to hear it with the full production value behind it as well.
Yeah.
So as you listen to it, you can go back on TikTok and find Jorge's like videos being like, "What do you think of this song?" And then yeah, and there are like cut songs that he would
Mhm.
share, and people were so sad. We're waiting for a cut saga.
Yeah,
I
cut
think that's
songs.
why I counted
Oh.
10. Yeah.
Okay.
He has a lot of cut songs. And just to put it in perspective, I guess this is more of a fun fact. He's our age, Kevana. He has been working on it for like the past 6 years of his like since he was
Wow.
like 20, I think, or maybe even 19. I don't know, but this has been like his life for like the past like past quarter, fifth of his life, and it shows.
Wow.
It shows in like the work and dedication that he put into it.
Yeah, no, I'm not doing enough.
Not to put us down, but no,
Right.
we're lifting him up. We're lifting him up.
Yes. No, that's it is cool because while it doesn't feel very far because like we hear like 2020, 2021, like no, that's almost like half a decade, if not already half a decade.
Yeah.
So like even that chunk alone, even though I know you said like he's been working on it for longer than that, is like pretty intense. Which shows like he really believes in his work, which is good. And it is making progress. I am curious, like, has there been any updates to where Epic could go other than him releasing it on, music platforms? Has there been any
I'm so glad
public
you
interest?
There's there's a lot of rumors, I would say, going around, and a lot of it seems to
Ooh,
be
okay.
more based in
Yeah.
reality. I think you might know
Yes. So
some
Jorge
buzz.
has not officially released anything,
Yeah.
right? But
Hmm.
I think if you go on like Wikipedia or if you like stalk the Epic like community, there's like a video game coming out, 2 or 3 adaptations, like just talks of things. And I think it makes sense. He probably has had many realistic offers, right? One, because he has such a strong and dedicated fan base. So I'm sure they've brought the attention to like other people. I know for a fact he's like met Lin Manuel Miranda
Oh yeah,
or
they
something.
met back at the beginning, I think, of Jorge's journey. Like, or they met like years ago. So Lin Manuel Miranda has known about him, and he's like commented once or twice on like like social media about Jorge from people asking. So yeah, he has some connections there, right? And I do know that he does want to take it further. I believe, even from just his own TikTok videos, he's talked about potentially like dreams of his would be having a video game made out of it, or
Or like
like
an
obviously,
anime.
or
He's
even
very into
an anime
anime.
would be a good one.
I am a bit curious about that. Sorry, that just popped in my head because that was one of the questions I had coming later was I don't know if y'all are also aware, but Lynn partnered with someone else to create an Odyssey musical. And so I get curious about that. Not me not knowing. I didn't know that I mean, of course, it's Lynn, so he probably knows what's going on in the world. And there could be multiple musicals at the same time because we literally had two Gatsby, productions in existence together. But I guess I'm curious of more so like I don't know. I think this is a messy question, but I guess I'm
Wait,
just more like
which
Lynn.
musical are you talking about? The one that just came out
Yeah,
about like
his
the murder?
um I forgot the name of it, but his is not in full totality yet. Lynn's, it's very much a concept as well.
Oh,
Oh,
It's
JK. Okay.
interesting.
Yeah, it's very much a concept as well. I can't remember who he partnered with, but they did like a quick little tour press run for a second to kind of just share their thoughts on what was going on with the musical. Um am I tripping? Maybe I'm tripping. Maybe it's not about the Odyssey. Let me check because
That's
I'm like
actually
I could have sworn there was a minute where yeah, musical adaptation. Okay, so I'm wrong. My apologies. It's not
What
about
was it?
it's not about the Odyssey. It says uh okay, this is the first one that popped up. But it says the Warriors says
Warrior.
next musical project will be about the Warriors. Okay, so I'm way off. My apologies. 1975 cult classic film about a New York City gang. Completely wrong. I
Okay.
don't know
Oh,
where I'm
Oh
mixing it
yes,
up.
yes. I've heard that.
interesting.
Mhm.
And you're right. People are comparing like the Warriors musical. Um
Okay.
their journey is like an Odyssey.
Got you.
Ah,
Okay.
okay,
So
okay.
that's where I've seen their names intertwined because I was like, I've seen them two be mentioned in the same spaces before.
There's
Okay.
actually, and you were about to start some beef between them.
No, 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 no. It was just a curiosity question because I was like, also too. I mean, I think it'd be cool if it's something that Lynn is really fully in, belief about. Lynn has a lot of power too, so I don't know, but that was just my
Well,
question. My bad. I'm
no,
not
no
trying to start no mess.
no, no problem. Well, it's actually good that you bring it up because I mean, it's another important thing to talk about, or just an interesting thing to talk about, is that they do actually get brought up similarly quite often. Um, I guess I don't know if it's because like they're both Puerto Rican musical like creators, but they get compared quite a bit, maybe because of that. And they have very different styles. Although I will say like there's some beats within like within Jorge's epic that do like are reminiscent of Hamilton, for example, or In the Heights. But I think that's just it's nothing crazy or outlandish. It's just
Yeah,
a
I
good
think
musical
all
beat.
at this point, all media draws off of other media,
Exactly.
right? And so even in like Lynn's work in the Heights, Hamilton, his next project, Moana, all those things like play off of each other. And while Lynn has created a very like distinct sound for himself, I think Jorge has too. Like a lot of feedback that he got in the beginning, and the reason why I think a lot of songs were cut is that he wanted to rework the sound to sound more like his style,
Hmm.
and he was still like finding it. And you'll hear that if you like get into it, Kivana. I really hope you do. You'll go back and you'll hear like the cut songs and you're like, oh, yeah, that did sound like very like not him. Like I like this new style better. I think you'll enjoy the growth.
Okay. I do like that. So in connection with that too, do we see I guess it depends on where it goes. But the question is, do we see him refining it even more? Or does this feel like the real final, piece?
I think with the current media that it has out now, which is essentially
Mm.
just the musical releases on Spotify and the fanomatics or fan animations,
Mm.
this is probably as refined as he'll get it. But that could definitely change if it gets bigger, right? Into like a live stage production or into a video or like into
Okay.
any other sort of media. I'm sure that we'll see some changes or tweaks here and
Mhm.
there.
Album wise though, I don't think he's gonna like go back and be like, let me change
Oh
this song.
yes,
I don't think he would do that.
I think like all the
Gotcha.
songs he's chosen, like all the songs that he cut are going to stay cut, and all
Yeah.
the songs that are officially released will stay
He
the
is like very,
officials.
very happy with like how it turned out.
Okay. Do you Which way do you see it going as an adaptation? What's the first way you think that's the more possible way right now?
Knowing Jorge, I think video game.
I think
Okay.
that's hard. I think that's one of definitely his like biggest dreams or biggest wants, and I would love to play that. Um, I think
Yeah.
realistically, the easiest thing to do next would be either like a live stage adaptation or even just an animated film, because there's already a lot of
Mm,
history and like experience with it being animated, right? And
yeah.
animation is one of the easier ways to portray a big, crazy adventure like in the epic with a bunch of different monsters, set pieces. I think animation would be pretty straightforward or a lot easier for them to get into.
Yeah. I was gonna say I think when you said that I was thinking the same thing because video game would be cool, but there's a lot of complexities with that one. Considering how long it also takes to put a video game together. Um, and then same kind of idea, Broadway would be more possible, or even not just Broadway, just like stage in general. That would
Hmm.
be more possible, but that is also a process that takes time as well. And then, yeah, I think, hmm, yeah, animation would probably be the best since it's already in existence. Just finally putting everything into one collective piece of work would be cool to see.
Yeah.
Hmm. And that's not done often, like a animation musical kind of thing. Not in
Mm-mm.
because like obviously of course we have Disney and stuff, but in the way that the pieces that I've seen it be done already
Hmm.
exist to be. Okay. So we already have like songs that pulled you in and kept you in, but over everything, over all time, are those like your favorite songs down, or what is your favorite song? Give me your you
We're
know
both
what? Give me your
looking.
top five each.
Okay, easier. I was gonna say a top one
Yeah,
song is
yeah.
kind of hard. Let me pull up this list really quick.
Bet. Go ahead. I will say while you're pulling up that list, I got a snippet of I don't know if she sings multiple songs, but there's a calypso song.
Yes.
Oh my god.
She
Are you
sounds good. I don't know who she is, but she sounds good.
Wingzui, yes. She is so talented.
She's really good.
She's so good.
So
So
I will
you
say that
probably heard Love in Paradise from the Wisdom Saga?
Love and Parrot. So here's the thing. I remember this is a filler in for the audience real quick, listeners out there. They played a few songs for me. So I have heard a few, but then this is going back to Summer and James. I don't remember what I listened to. So if they're especially if you're giving me a title, I'm not going to be able to confirm anything for you. So I'm so sorry.
That's true. I think, yes, the Calypso song you would like. That's like later on in the album.
Okay.
Um, I can
What's the
give
title for
you
that? Do you know?
for what?
The
Her other
Calypso
song.
song.
The two
Uh,
songs for her are "Love in Paradise" and "Not Sorry for Loving You."
Okay. Do you think it's probably Love in Paradise? Because he was like, I have a wife. And then she was like,
Yes,
okay, bet.
that's the one.
Okay.
okay.
I'm picking my
I
top
know. I am
five.
so like,
No, you're good. I did put you on spot. To be fair, I thought you'd have it, but also this is good to know because that means that you love it so much that it's hard to put five into one.
I can give
top.
you. I know that Monster
Monster's gonna be one of
is
those.
in my top 5.
Okay. Yeah, you don't have to order it.
Yeah.
I'm not ordering mine. That's
Monster.
too indecisive for that.
I think Warrior of the Mind
Mhm.
will be fine.
Will be fine.
Yes. The Challenge.
We're gonna have a couple of the same ones, but I think that just speaks to those songs even more.
Okay, The
So
Challenge. Let me see.
Hmm. And then this
Mm,
actually made me think of another question for you when you are done
well,
with
question for you, Kavana, since this is
that.
technically all about us trying to convince you to get into it.
yes.
Mhm.
Give me an example for some of your favorite things to see in a musical or even in songs themselves.
Yeah.
Like what
What
do
a
you like to
solid
see or
question.
hear?
Um, so for me, especially when I'm just listening to something, so I'm gonna separate visuals completely.
Okay.
So when I listen to a musical for the first time, I want to be able to hear the story and be able to visualize what's happening. Um, solely alone. So the best
Okay.
musicals for me are musicals where I can like really catch a full picture. So like Once on This Island, I've never seen that musical. I've seen a slime tutorial, but that was even after like me listening to it and falling in love with the music. Um it's got to be emotional in some way, shape, or form. So like not just like of course every musical is emotional, but like are you actually connecting to your audience and making your audience emotional. So, even tying back into Once on the Silence, one of my favorite ones. I'm gonna try to avoid the really basic ones like Hamilton and Wicked and stuff, even though I do
That's
love those
fine.
as well.
That's fine, yeah.
But something even like Waitress. I really love Waitress. And that's because I can get the story of Waitress. I understand what's happening in Waitress. Like she is happy at times, she's going through it. She has like a revelation at the end, and I can hear all of that in the music. So it's I'm really big on lyrics because of that. Excuse me. And then I'm also like really big on like the sound quality as well.
Sure,
So
yeah.
what's really happening in the back and how does possibly not all musicals necessarily do this, but how does the instrumentals and like the orchestra in the back, how does that also tie into the lyrics? Like are
Oh
they
my
matching
god.
the energy of the
Girl.
lyrics?
If only dude. Kivana, my goodness. You need Oh my gosh, do you need to listen to this thing?
I was like, what are you
Okay.
gonna
Can I
say
just
right now?
Yeah.
No, literally. Oh my god. All of those things that you just listed, like the intentionality, the sound quality, the
Mhm,
recalling of motifs, like the emotion, all of those things,
mhm.
I think will not only meet your expectations if you listen to Epic, will literally blow you out of the water.
Okay.
Like on multiple occasions, not just,
Mhm.
top 5 songs. Like in all 40 of the songs, like I can tell you over 30 of them are like repeated in my head over and over and over.
Mm. So are you saying it's close to a no skip album?
Yes.
Okay.
I would say so too. At this so I guess some historical background for me.
Mhm,
I did not get into it as much as early as early as Summer did. So she pretty much has been on board with with Jorge's Odyssey
mhm,
since 2020. I did hear about it then, and we like talked about it back then as well. She introduced me to the first saga, which is the only one that was out.
mhm.
But once those like viral sounds essentially went away in the time, I also like did not keep up with it. I think it was really last year around August or September when I heard some of the newer
Mm.
songs
The
come out.
Wisdom Saga.
Yeah, Wisdom Saga that came out. That like got me back into it. And then after that, I started listening to all of the other songs that had come out since 2020 and it
Okay.
completely took me in. Yeah. I was like it was unavoidable. I couldn't get away from it.
Okay. Good to know. Good to know. I'm gonna bring us back real quick, and then I'm gonna ask my question that is in connection to what you just said. So I have Summer's top five. James, what is yours?
Okay, so I think unlike both of you, I'm not so much of a lyrics person. I'm more so about the actual music itself, or I guess the way that it's composed and the way that it sounds, usually it takes me 3 or 4 listens to actually start to listen to the words more than just the typical beat or rhythm. So for me, because I've listened to this so much, I do have a couple in here that do emotionally hit the beats. But a lot of it is also just the way that, the type of music that it's giving. So I also have Monster. I also have The Challenge. And I think from there we have different ones. So I also have a song called Dangerous. I have a song called Full Speed Ahead, and I have Mutiny.
Mutiny?
Yeah, that's a good one.
Okay.
That one is one that calls back a lot to a lot of different motifs that they have hinted at throughout the series, and kind of brought it full circle or to where it needs to get to for the story to take place.
So, Kavana, I know you said you have my 5, but
Mhm.
just to confirm, my 5 are The Challenge,
Mhm.
Just a Man, Monster, Warrior of the Mind, and Will Be Fine. In no particular order.
Bet.
It's those 5. And that's just me, like, off the cuff, right? Like,
Mhm.
I'm sure my favorite songs will always oscillate just because I enjoy them all immensely.
Mine have
Mhm.
definitely been switching back and forth as
Mhm.
now that everything's out and I'm listening to it, I'm like, oh, this song I find myself listening to a lot more, or this song over here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm curious, based off of what I'm hearing though, it this is my guess. Best saga, Wisdom Saga?
Not for me. I would say no for
Okay.
me.
Okay.
It might be for Summer.
So what
It's
is
just
the
so
best saga?
good. It's so good.
That's really hard to
Um,
answer.
You don't
Because
have
they
a moment? Because since it's story-wise, right? You don't have a period in the musical where you're like, "No, this is my favorite part. This is, like, fire."
but those moments
Mhm.
take places in songs more than sagas. Because once
Okay.
again, sagas are just like broken up. It helps with the storytelling,
Mhm.
but at the same time, for example, my like top song of the year, Spotify last year, like 900 listens or something, Monster, the Underworld saga. 3 songs in that saga. Kivana, I do not like that saga. I do not. I enjoy the other 2 songs immensely. I love them. Eh. Monster is my jam though. It is like the turning point of the musical for me, for a lot of people.
If I was gonna look at like story beats, right, on their
Mhm.
own, it would. It's hard to. It's there's a lot of recency bias, right? But the last saga that he released, like the final saga, is really good. It's really, really good, and it's also very different than the rest of the musical, both in terms of story and perspective and like tone. It's very, very different, but it's so well put together, and it really wraps everything into a nice bow.
Oh my god, yeah.
But I would say Thunder Saga. I think overall, as a middle saga, Thunder Saga for me would be very cohesive,
Mhm.
and overall has some really high quality songs across the board.
Okay. First of all, I just wanna say, apologies. They're going crazy outside,
I heard
and I
that.
No worries.
um, it's so funny because I have my mute button on my mic, so I just keep muting and unmuting. Um, but I was gonna say, okay, so bet because of, you know, these sagas and you falling in love with the story and you sticking around, um, I guess I'm curious to know how do we see I know we see, possibly wanting that video game, possibly wanting that animation, possibly wanting that Broadway show, and all these theories. But where do we really want it to blossom, even in regards to TikTok? Because it doesn't right now. I know it's like it's done. It doesn't seem to be super stagnant. But what happens truly from here, for the fans more so?
Mm, I first of all, just so you know, it
Mhm.
wrapped up on Christmas of
Yes.
2024.
Mhm.
So it's only been like 2 months, right?
Mhm.
Not even 2 months.
Yeah.
And so when you consider next steps, I'm happy just enjoying like having the full album. Like
Mhm.
having the full album right now 2 months out, very enjoyable.
I was gonna say that as well. Like, at
Gotcha.
least for me, worst case scenario, nothing. It's just over. This is the last time like I ever talk about it is in this
Mhm,
podcast with you. I would still be very happy. I'd be very very satisfied with what we got. It
mhm,
is like ultimately a completed set. Um, realistically, I do think like there's enough traction and enough support for it to get some sort of adaptation. I really can't say what that could be. I
mhm.
am still leaning towards animation again, just from budget and time constraints. But I could totally see that happening, or even like small scale live stage productions, right? I could see that happening
Yeah.
on like on a local stage.
Yeah. And before we even get to that, Kivana, hopefully you will have heard all of the album by then.
Listen, this is why we had this, because that's the goal, right? For me,
Where
to be
are
quite
we? Yeah.
to be quite honest with you, the reason why I think I hadn't attached to it yet is because when I've heard different things in different pieces, I will say when we were in the car and I was listening to those other ones, like I was like, okay, I'm here. Like I like what I'm hearing. But sometimes when I've heard pieces here or there, everything kind of sounds, don't come for me. Everything kind of sounds a little bit similar. And so, but once
Okay,
again, I have not really internalized it. I haven't sat down and listened. So that's just me coming out of an outside perspective view. That is why I have not jumped, I think, to go listen to
Mhm.
it, because nothing has really dragged me in like, okay, bet, let me go. Let me listen to
And
it.
that's okay. The only thing that tells me is that it sounds cohesive. And so, if
well, for me, I think I can definitely relate, right? Because me and
Mhm,
Summer talk about this. Like I mentioned already in this podcast, I
mhm.
am pretty averse to repetition in music. I
Yeah.
think it makes things stale really quickly, and it makes things really boring really
Mhm,
quickly. Um, and I don't know, maybe it took me. I did have to go through a couple listens for the first time, and I was like, okay, yeah, I think I had the same thoughts as you, where I was like, okay, very
mhm,
similar. I'm hearing the same beats, I'm hearing the same motifs over and over again. But once I did start to pay attention to the lyrics and I got more into the story,
mhm.
it becomes more enjoyable. It's a lot. It's not so much the repetition, but you start to notice the little things he does with the music that are slightly changing between each song. Like, okay, yes, he's playing this motif again, but because of where they're at now in like their odyssey and their journey,
Mhm.
why are we hearing like those like hints of like another note, or like that hint of like a sub melody in there that's like, hinting at what's coming next, or hinting at what they're
Yeah.
currently feeling or hiding from each other. It's stuff like that that I think helped enhance it a lot for me. Because yes, I still agree that there is a lot of like repeated motifs, a lot of repetition. It builds on each other, and it makes each re-listen enjoyable because you keep catching like new things or different things that he's trying with his music to emphasize or to showcase different emotions.
Gotcha. Okay. Bet.
please, let's do a watch party. Please.
Listen, if
I'd be
you
down
want
for a
to,
watch
I'm
party.
down. Yeah, I'm down. I think that actually might get me to listen faster.
Really?
Because
Okay, let's
yeah,
go right now.
accountability.
All right,
Let's
Huh?
go right now.
stop the recording. Stop the
Pause the
recording.
podcast, y'all. We're gonna come
Yeah.
back later.
Ivana, you have no idea how excited we've been at the possibility of being able to listen and watch with someone for the first time again. Like,
I'm down. Listen, we could do a little YouTube watch party or something. Um,
Eh,
I'm down. I'm
go
here
ahead.
for
something. Yeah, I would be down. First of all, just to get that, make sure that's clear.
it.
I do think, like, because this is something we've also talked about. Me and Summer
Mhm,
talk about this a lot. If you can't tell,
mhm,
when we do introduce this to someone, would we want to introduce it? And I guess we could take your input on this as well. Would we want to introduce it in a watch party all the way through from beginning to end, or would we want to introduce it on like a serial basis? So, like
mm,
every week we'll watch one saga or listen to one saga. Um, I lean
hmm.
more towards one saga at a time.
No, I lean towards like
Interesting.
2 sagas at a
Or
time.
sure, two sagas at a time, but split up for sure for me.
I
And
have a
yes,
question.
we'll take
Yeah.
questions.
So, okay, going back to musical world. If I want to see it as a full musical piece,
Yes.
I feel like I need to be convinced, like sing it as a full music piece in one go. I actually think that if I catch it piece by piece,
Mm.
I
Okay.
feel like I like, so going back to like the storyline, the connection, taking me on a journey, I want to be able to experience that in full, especially knowing that I can now. But I also understand that y'all got it in pieces, so that's how you experienced it. But I feel like,
Like,
Yeah. Mhm.
just so
yeah.
you know, we listened to the entire album on repeat multiple times a week. Like,
Period.
definitely.
And you said it's like
And
2.5 hours?
Yeah.
yes,
Okay.
like when we go on drives or something, if I'm like visiting my family, they're like an hour away. We'll
Yeah.
do first half, drive back, second half.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
And so I really enjoy your motivation to like sit down and consume the whole thing. I think you will enjoy it just as much. The
Okay.
only reason why we talked about breaking it up is because we would want to introduce people who are not necessarily, they don't have that attention span. No offense. And
No, no
they
offense
either
taken,
don't,
but I have
yeah,
questions now.
no, not to
Yeah,
you.
not you, not you.
To
In
other
general.
people. Like, not to call her out or anything, but Joyce.
Oh, well, because Joyce isn't a musical girly, so that
Exactly.
makes
Exactly.
sense. That makes
Yeah.
sense.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We think that this is something that people who are not into musicals will enjoy as well.
I do
Okay.
believe that, yeah.
To the
Bet.
point where Kayvana, one of the songs in Epic, ended up in Joyce's top 100 listen throughs in
Okay.
2024 for her
That's
Spotify Wrapped.
that's considered a success.
And that song
Super
came
nice.
out what, at the beginning of November?
Yeah,
Like
it came
she
out
had 2 months to
Thanksgiving.
catch it up, and it
Oh,
got pretty high up
nice.
on her list from
Okay.
just like listening to that one song.
It was
Bet.
like repeated for like a month for her constantly.
Which
And
one
that
was it?
song, it's on James's top
It was
5.
dangerous,
Dangerous.
actually. And it's on there
Dangerous.
it's on there
Okay.
for its music, for its like not necessarily as a story beat, but more for the
Yeah.
music. I really enjoy the music in
Was
that one.
that one of the ones you played in the car?
No,
It wasn't. Okay.
because oh my god, wait,
It might have been.
yes.
It
We
might have
just
It has more of like a synth wave, like
Was that
synth like pop to it.
Hermes.
Yeah.
It's like Hermes
which one
song.
was the one where it's on a 3 beat instead of a 4?
Oh my gosh, she's talking about Storm.
Yeah, I think you're talking about
7/4.
that.
Oh, okay.
That was 7/4 too. Or
Yeah.
7/4. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, bet.
So
Sorry, I was giving it dancer terms.
you will really enjoy
Uh,
that Jorge is very intentional with the vibe of every character that you meet.
Yes.
Like,
Like each character will have their own motif or
yes,
their own, signifying melody.
he's talked about it. And you'll like this too. Every character is assigned their own instrument for
Yes,
their
that
motif.
is true. That's
Oh.
true.
And
So
they
like
also have
Calypso
their own
does Calypso have like a what is that thing called?
See, I'm hard at identifying it. I don't even know what
Yeah.
Calypso is.
Yeah.
But I know that, like, for instance, like Odysseus is the guitar,
Yeah.
Like a
right?
bass or like
Athena,
a
so just like guitar,
any
right?
guitar? Okay.
Because he goes through so many emotions, different places in his journey. I think Jorge, when he talks about finding an instrument for Odysseus, what more diverse than a guitar?
Accurate.
Acoustic for his down moments, electric for his like really up moments, his like
Oh,
you
I don't
know,
think I
there's
saw
so
that
much
video, but that
diversity.
makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
Athena, piano,
Yes.
right?
Mhm,
Oh
mhm.
my gosh, does that hit?
Okay.
Penelope,
Viola.
the viola,
Viola, yeah.
viola,
Nice.
yeah.
I think Zeus is like what, electric guitar?
Zeus is like, yeah, something like that. Hera, 70s beats, right?
Hermes is synth.
Okay.
Hermes synth music. Like,
Yeah.
you'll really
Yeah.
enjoy all of those tiny details
Okay. I appreciate that.
that mesh so well and create such a nice big picture.
Okay. I do like
Girl,
that.
you want to listen to it right now?
Yeah. Like, all right, y'all, we're gonna take a pause. I did have one last question in regards to like the storyline. Like, yes, at some point, a good chunk of people have to read the Odyssey, when they're in school. It's been a very long time since I had to read the Odyssey, but I'm because it's adaptation, of course, I am curious to know via the music, what is your favorite, not song, what is your favorite, but via song, what is your favorite moment that you think he writes really well into this musical adaptation?
Like in respect to the Odyssey, right?
Yeah,
That's a good
like,
question.
I
That's a
remember,
really
like,
good
there's a
question.
Cyclops, like, was the Cyclops moment fire still? Like, et cetera, et cetera.
It's
So,
definitely fire in its own right. I wouldn't treat it as my favorite, but
Okay.
it's very,
No, that was
very
just a reference.
reflective. No, yeah, that's a good one. No,
just so you
it's a good
know,
Yeah.
point.
Kayvana, For me, the
Mhm,
songs that are like skips for me,
mhm,
it's not because the songs are bad, it's because they're
mhm.
sad. Like
Yeah.
it makes
Oh,
me the songs that
interesting.
I skip either make me angry or they make
Mhm.
me really, really sad.
Good to know.
And
Okay.
it's not because they're bad. I would argue that
They're some
Mm.
of
this
the
is
best
like a
songs, yeah.
yeah, it's a no skip
Yeah,
type of album.
gotcha. Okay. Because I always that's good to know because for me, I do it differently. Like I go off of like well, yeah, favorite songs are different, of course, but for me, when if I'm picking a favorite song, I go off of just like the song in
Quality.
general, whether it's like sad or not. So like my
Mhm.
brain always goes to like Burn in Hamilton. Like,
Yeah.
man, that song, especially when you see it visually too, of course, but you can even once again, going back to Lynn and how you can hear everything,
Mhm.
without having to see it. Fire song.
Yes.
But yeah, incredibly sad. Yeah. Okay, good.
So same vein, say no to this in Hamilton.
I
Yes.
don't listen to that song.
James refuses.
How do you not like listening to that song?
That
Yeah.
is such a fire song.
It
It's a
is.
good
It
song, it's
is.
a
Like
really good
it
song.
just makes him
Mhm.
like so angry. Not
It's like,
angry.
Valid.
"This again, am I right?" Like,
Yeah. It's like, "Oh, he knew better," and then we go into
Yeah.
Reynolds' pamphlet, and then yeah.
But
"Oh,
I
yeah,
think
jeez."
Yeah.
I think when you listen it through and
Mhm.
then I'll tell you what my skips are, I think you will 100% understand.
Okay.
I'm
And we
still
still listen to them. We definitely
Yeah.
do.
yeah.
Mhm.
Just when we're in a good mood, we don't.
I am
Yeah.
trying to pick my favorite
Mhm.
historical beat that it hits.
Okay. Yeah.
I
Mm,
would say that it might be the first one, because that's it if you're
Mhm.
I'm sure you're a little familiar,
Mhm.
Iliad is, like, the lead up to the Odyssey, right? And Iliad is all about, like, the War of Troy, it's the
Mhm.
Trojan horse. It's basically, like, the end of that, so it's basically the end of its own story, like, and they kind of feed you
Mhm.
that with the first song or first
Yeah.
couple songs, and it sets up the stage for the rest. I think it's done really well in musical form for him to, like, take such a such an impactful ending to one story and such an
Mhm.
impactful beginning to another, and putting it into one album makes it really interesting and really creative for a musical.
yeah.
Yeah.
For
Okay.
me, just to wrap back to your question,
Mhm.
this is an adaptation, right? So it's not going to be like, please don't be like, hey, that's not how it went
Oh,
down
yes,
in the Odyssey, right?
yes, he takes
There's
his some liberties here and there, right?
yes, spoilers. No, you don't want. Do you want spoilers?
Yes, I do
Okay.
still. Yeah.
There is a point where do you remember like the wind bag that Odysseus is not supposed to open because it contains like Poseidon's storm?
I have an inkling of remembering because I just
Yes.
remember Homeboy was doing a lot he wasn't supposed to do.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
So there's a point in the musical where he freaking like puts it on and uses it as like a jetpack.
Yeah,
LOL.
Like
Okay.
just to let you know,
that is not
Mhm.
part of the original Odyssey.
Yeah.
it's very like it's very inspired by other pop culture elements that Jorge enjoys, right? Like
Mhm.
anime, video games, things like that. In terms of like adaptation, I love the Ithaca saga. It's the last
Mhm.
piece in the album and it tells Odysseus coming home and what he
Mm.
does to like, get revenge on the suitors and like his reunion with Telemachus, his son, and Penelope, his wife. I think it is so beautifully done. If you're comparing it to the source material, I really
Mhm.
enjoy that saga parallel.
Yeah, I agree with that. It's a really nice. I don't. I can't say if it's one to one. Obviously, I'm sure it's not,
It's
but
not.
it's very respectful. I think of the original source material.
Okay. That's good to know then. Yeah, no, it makes sense because like I said, like, any kind of adaptation, I mean, books, musicals, etc., like nothing ever sticks the same. Hamilton alone is way nowhere near.
Yeah.
But it's supposed to be um in amongst like all the I'm sorry, the movie to musical adaptations, as well as like the book ones too. So no, that 100% makes sense. And I love that he makes it a little bit more current. If that
Mhm.
yeah, like, seems
Oh
like it's a
yeah,
little bit more fun, has more fun with it, which makes sense for a lot of different reasons to tie people in current time. Alright. I think y'all have convinced me.
Oh
I
my
I
god.
think
Yes.
I think the next move, though, is we gotta do this watch party thing. Yeah,
Let's do it. Yeah.
I think that's the move. And so I
Now?
do want to see it visually. Now, Summer, we have another podcast to record. LOL. Um, but yes, and so this is actually something I could keep, y'all updated on the introvert social hour. And then, I'll probably even post a little TikTok when we're done, and
Ooh.
we'll see where we go from here.
Yes,
Maybe I'll be a
please.
part of Epic Talk. Who knows?
Yes.
You gotta
Could
get
be a
in
thing.
eventually. Yeah.
Yeah, it could be a
Hey,
thing.
even Sony's official account is on Epic Talk.
Sony?
Oh,
No,
they're trying to get the rights?
What'd they
oh
do?
no,
No,
they
what'd they
use the
do?
viral sounds. So like
Oh.
so out of the last album, there was
Mm,
like the last song actually had a really viral sound come out that a lot of people are using. I don't know if you've heard it yet, Kivana, where it's like
mm,
I would fall in love with you over and over again is like the lyrics, and a lot of
mm,
people are using it for like Sony used it to like they showcase all of like their like pictures or moments with someone or something over the past like 10 years. Sony did
mhm.
it like officially with their account and posted it
Nice.
over like all the different PlayStations that came out as an example. Or people will use
Okay.
it with like their significant other and post pictures from like the past 10 years and say like, "Oh, I would fall in love with you over and over again." Stuff like that.
Yeah.
Okay,
Um
cute.
And it's basically like Odysseus's and Penelope's duet. That's like the very last song in the album.
Mm, okay.
And it's like them reuniting after 20 years apart, right? So it's
Oh, dang,
a
yeah.
very, very good payoff.
Mhm.
yes,
And I think it stands on its own as a very good
song.
song.
Alright, 'cause I love me a good duet ending in any kinda
Yeah.
album, so you hyped it up for me.
You would eat that up. You would eat it up.
Alright.
You will eat
Okay.
it up, I should say.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yay! We completed our mission in under an hour.
You did, yes. We're at 56 minutes. um, I am curious to know, listeners, are you part of Epic Talk? Have you listened to the full Epic, cast album, all 9 sagas? I'm curious to know what your thoughts are. What's your favorite song? What's your favorite saga, if you have one? And so forth. What do you see for Epic in the future, and what do you want from me in regards to Epic? Because I'm here, I'm interested, and which is why I thought of this podcast episode in the first place. So very excited. Thank you again, Summer and James, for your epic passion and bringing the
Good one.
story here. Just make sure, as far as Summer and James goes, you can go ahead and check out their bios in the description, and then go ahead and follow me at the Introvert Social Hour on TikTok and at Kavana on Instagram. Also at the Introvert Social Hour on YouTube. And then just make sure you're staying updated on what's happening here on the podcast. So go ahead and follow so you know when episodes are dropping. At the end of the day, make sure you get some sunshine, get some air, have a great week, and I will see you next week on the Introvert Social Hour. Thank you again, y'all. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.